Hi everyone, I'm Anthony Strone. I'm presenting a slideshow version of my scholarly paper titled Emotional Contagion Relation to Mimicking and Neuro-linguistic Programming. It's a presentation to Dr. Barlow and my fellow classmates. So emotional contagion relation to mimicking explores the SMS text messaging when contacting a business. And since most things we do in business do carry over to our personal lives, it's easy to see how this scholarly paper covers over and expands into our personal lives and how you and I use SMS messaging or text messaging. Paper reviews emotional connections received from text messaging and reviews Cialdini's presentation of attractive people having advantages that others don't. With SMS, that both the sender and the receiver of the text message doesn't see each other. So this paper examines is that whirl and click and auto response that Cialdini describes minimized and removed. The goal of the paper is to check if SMS also allows for emotional connection when we text each other. Paper is broken down into four major sections. Topic one is the advantages of that attractive people have. And in that section, we're going to deconstruct really what does attractiveness mean, how is it measured, and you're going to find the answer as surprising as I did. Number two is everyone truly is attractive in the digital age, and we're going to look at an application that people are using to make themselves more attractive. Number three is the emotional connection of SMS messages, and does it provide an emotional connection? The answer is yes, but we're going to see that certain chemicals are missing in the brain when we just have text messages. And number four is further conclusion of the paper. What did I learn and where will I continue my learning on this paper? So the next one, when you see the next four facts presented on the next slide, monitor your own feelings. What do these facts trigger as feelings to you? So the four facts that triggered an emotional response in me is fact number one: attractive people do receive more money. In fact, 5% more money. And there are other studies that really say that number is significantly higher, but I went with the lowest one. Number two, people subconsciously classify physically attractive people as good and trustworthy. Number three is the attractive children receive preferred treatment by teachers. And we could devote a whole paper to that, because if that's true, what happens on the opposite? And number four talks about the criminal system or the justice system. Unattractive defendants in a court system receive harsher punishments when convicted. So Cialdini's studies really bring a lot to the front. So let's go on to the section. Let's deconstruct beauty. And really, our definition of beauty happens when we're a baby, as I learned. We spend all our time as babies seeking out faces. And we're looking for faces that represent mathematically the most average representation of all of the population. So when a baby finds someone who mathematically meets that, they stare at that person longer. And everything I learned said, really, that's built into us. That's part of our genetic makeup. And we look for averageness because the averageness of someone's face to us represents the possibility that that person is free from genetic defects, free from future mutations. And as we want to carry on our lineage, we're looking for people who are average, and average in our brain equals free from genetic deformities or harmful mutations that occur. So really, what we define as attractive is really a representation of the most average looking face among all the populations. So I never knew that, and I found that fascinating. So attractive is average. So the next one, you're going to find 49% of people do this, and that may be 49% of your friends. Let's take a look at what they do. And really, 49% of the people tweak their own photos before publishing them on social media. There's a lot of apps that allow you to tweak and alter your image so that you set your own image of what you define as the most attractive. It is what it is, but the bullet point number three is the most alarming one. So children who do this and children who compare their own photos to photos of others actually reduce their own self-esteem. So it's harmful to children who use this technology, and it's harmful for children to look at photos and compare their photos to others. Advancing to the next slide. So let's take a look at Facetune. So Facetune is an app that you run on your smartphone, and three high examples are smoothing. You could smooth out any imperfections that you perceive on your own face. Number two, if you didn't like the shape of your own head, Facetune can reshape your head. And number three, if you didn't like the amount of pigment inside your skin, you can make your skin tone lighter. You can make your skin tone darker. So there's a lot of features in it to manipulate your own image to meet the definition of attractive that you have for yourself. So continuing with our paper. So consumers are driving more and more business to use SMS messages, and businesses are equally meeting that demand. So SMS does minimize the advantages of the auto click whirl responses that Cialdini explains because we don't see each other. Emotional contagion. Yes, we do feel emotions connecting with each other through SMS messages, and that's good. However, we should be aware that SMS messages don't produce the same chemicals that are naturally occurring when we have video or face-to-face time. And that chemical is oxytocin. That oxytocin is needed for emotional well-being and romantic feelings. But if you're just doing text messaging, that chemical is not released in the brain. So the paper now kind of comes to a close, and the learning lessons for me and the areas that I want to continue my learning in is the progression of technology in SMS certainly seems to address Cialdini's findings that attractive people do have competitive advantages, and SMS technology, since we don't see each other, does minimize that advantage that attractive people have. This progression of technology does minimize our chance to be tricked by people that subconsciously we identify as attractive and that we define as good and worthy people. Number three, I learned that we need to be aware that brains does not produce the chemicals that are experienced in face-to-face and video chats in SMS. So it does provide some chemical. It does provide some connections, but it does not produce chemicals that are naturally occurring when we see each other. Number four is SMS. Does it widen the digital gap? And the digital divide is people who have technology and people who don't have access to technology. And I would like to study more about the Lifeline phones. Lifeline phones are the government-sponsored phones through the FCC, and people who fall below the poverty income level are eligible for a phone through the Lifeline program. But those phones only contain 35 gigabytes of data per month. And what that really equates to over a typical month is only 1 hour of time. And people now have to decide how are they going to use that 1 hour time. Are they going to use it to access additional education, resources? Are they going to use it for communication? Are they going to use it for FaceTime? They use it for employment opportunities. So as more technology comes out, it really widens the gap of that digital divide. So thank you very much, and I look forward to your questions and seeing your presentations. Thank you, everyone.